Forest fans, gather round. There's a tremor at the city ground tonight, and it's not just the autumn chill biting the skin. It's the feeling that something might flip the script right here, right now. In recent days, everything felt like it was slipping. Tonight, the stands take a deep breath and stare at the pitch, craving one thing above all: direction. The moment is heavy, yes, but it's on nights like this that a club decides who it is. The lights, the anthem, the hush before kickoff. This is where belief gets tested. The air is thick with questions and the team knows it. A fresh voice on the touchline, a new grip on the wheel, and a European stage to prove it's not too late to change the narrative. You can almost hear the gears shifting beneath the boots, the tension climbing the stands like ivy. There's a new man on the touchline, the third of the season. A manager known for turning wind into grind, storms into structure, who arrives speaking the language of intensity, compactness, standards, and results. The first exam is European, the kind that brands you. A turning point if it clicks, a blunt warning if it doesn't. The question that bites is simple. When the ball rolls, will this team feel different? Will it, truly? Will the press synchronize? Will the distances tighten? Will the crowd see something they can roar for? Or will it feel like shuffling chairs on a sinking deck? Inside the dressing room, eyes have changed. Some see a window, a chance to reclaim a starting spot by running harder, thinking quicker, defending the box like it's home. Others feel the heat, especially after public criticism that stung pride and poked at mentality. Outside, a row rages about how decisions were made. Owner, pundits, perception, words like class and process thrown like darts. It's bigger than the pitch for a moment, but the pitch is where this all gets settled. The noise will quiet only one way: through sweat, through tackles, through belief stitched back together by work rate and organization. Across the halfway line, a seasoned European rival who won't blink. It's chest and lungs. It's about riding the storm, choosing the moment to hurt, setting traps in the half spaces, and owning both boxes. Courage to alter routes mid-game, to value a scruffy clearance as much as a slick move. Feel it? The city ground does. The hush before roar, the drum before thunder. The stands know what's at stake. It's not just 3 points, it's identity on trial, a manifesto written in 90 minutes under floodlights. Before any names drop, a question that cuts deep. If the helm hadn't changed now, where would we be by the weekend? And if the new helm doesn't win tonight, what truly shifts? Breathe, Forest. Like this video, leave your take right now. What do you expect from a European night under new command? And from this reset? Your voice, your end. This is your stand, your tribe, your moment to speak before the ball rolls and reality takes over. No names, no delay. The first reveal goes straight to the touchline, to the figure holding the tactical map and the week's emotional storm. Debut incoming. Identity on trial. Brace yourself. He arrived in noise. A team out of breath, out of winds, in need of someone to tighten the bolts and point north. The ask is simple, really. Defend the box, run together, own restarts, spring transitions, believe in the basics. He's known as the foundation man, the one who strips it back and builds from shape and grit. Under European lights, every run, every clearance, every set-piece touch hums louder. The stands don't crave tricks tonight. They crave a platform, something solid to stand on while the storm passes. This is about Sean Dyche, and the mission is blunt. First European win of the campaign. On debut, carrying the weight of being the third head coach of the season. It's not small. It's a statement night, a chance to show that chaos bows to structure when lines are tight and minds are clear. In matches like this, one clean contact from a corner can change storylines. One well-timed press can swing mood. One block in the dying seconds can become folklore. The European stage magnifies everything, and Deitch knows it. He's lived it, breathed it, survived it. Context matters deeply here. He steps in after a turbulent run, with the domestic table frowning and fixtures coming like waves. Europe now, league right after. There's no room for overthinking or slow integration. Expect pragmatism with purpose. Narrow the middle, protect the penalty spot. Win second balls, hit the channels early. No need to invent. Stabilize, get the crowd on side with body language, distances, aggression. Make the opposition feel every single yard is earned, not given. That's the first principle. Respect is borrowed until it's imposed. Tonight is symbol and lab rolled into one. Against a heavyweight visitor, the first red should be tight distances, disciplined fullbacks, a screening midfielder guarding the box, and pressure triggers set by sideways passes or slow build-up. If needed late, a second reference up top to fight for territory, squeeze throw-ins, and hunt knockdowns. It's simple because it has to be. Simple can be beautiful when 11 hearts beat in one line, when every player knows their trigger, their responsibility, their zone to die for. That's the Deitch blueprint. Everyone understands the plan, and everyone follows it with lungs and legs. In the dressing room, every minute is an audit. New eyes, new standards. Players who were shadows can step into light if they nail the ugly jobs. Track runners, block crosses, clear zones, communicate danger before it arrives. Confidence is currency, and a European win mints it fast. It hushes the outside noise and turns training clips into belief. That's the swing on offer here. 90 minutes buying peace, buying time, buying trust. One result won't fix everything, but it plants a flag. This is who we are now. A small detail with a loud echo. Third manager of the season. That phrase will be repeated 100 times in the build-up. And that's fuel, either to burn your lungs for the shirt or to crumble under the weight. Which one defines this group? That's what tonight answers. The external noise becomes internal motivation, or it becomes a millstone. The choice belongs to the 11 on the pitch, and the voices in the stands pushing them forward. One more question for you, Forest faithful. Would you take a gritty 1-0 with 6 yellow cards and a last-ditch block in stoppage time? Or do you demand fluid football on day one? Drop it below, because there's no wrong answer. Only honest ones. The next part lights the fuse on the week's loudest argument. And it's not about formations or tactics. It's about power, perception, and what class means when the pressure's on. It started as a murmur, spilled into pubs, and then crashed onto primetime. Forget 4-4-2 or 4-3-3. This is about the line between ruthless decision and classless act. Some call it necessary. Others call it a stain. And when a big voice weighs in, the storm gets a name, a headline, and a life beyond the touchline. Suddenly the story isn't just about results. It's about methods, reputation, and whether the ends justify the means in modern football. Gary Neville took aim at Evangelos Marinakis, branding the handling of the previous sacking classless, reigniting a war of words that stretches from the technical area to the boardroom. It reframes the coaching change as more than a result call, as a test of the club's reputation. Fair or not, it sticks to the storyline like wet paint, and every misstep will make it drip. The debate spreads, radio phone-ins, social media trenches, pub corners. Everyone has a take, and most are loud. Here's the rub. When a prominent pundit questions the owner's standards, it drags process, timing, and communication into the dock. For a team trying to break a skid, it adds weight to the debut and pushes the new manager's first whistle under a harsher spotlight. Reputation football is real. Players feel it, staff feel it, fans echo it. Nights like this either rinse the narrative or deepen the tint. Win, and the noise becomes background static. Lose, and every word Neville said gets replayed in slow motion with added venom. What actually happened this week? The language, sharp as a stud, called the dismissal without class, sparking rebuttals, think pieces, and 1,000 timeline takes. Marinakis, known for bold moves and short patience, becomes the lightning rod. Inside the ground, though, the counter-argument is simple. Win your duels. Make a tackle that shakes the stand. Earn the right to address class with the only currency that counts: points, performances, pride. Because if the scoreboard smiles, the discourse quietens, at least for a heartbeat. Tactically, the fallout nudges toward caution in the opening phase. Minimize risk. Limit turnovers in Zone 14. Avoid cheap set plays conceded near the box, because another headline is a stray leg away. The trade is clear. Tidy first half to settle nerves, then flip the aggression once the press lines sink and confidence blooms. The alternatives? Go bold from minute one. Ride the crowd. Trust the adrenaline surge that comes from proving doubters wrong in real time. The margin is thin either way, and Dyche knows it. Impacting the squad psychologically, this kind of external noise can galvanize or fracture. Some players thrive on siege mentality, feeding off the us versus them energy. Others retreat inward, worrying about perception, about being collateral damage in a boardroom power play. Leadership voices in the dressing room, captain, senior pros, coaching staff, become critical. They either channel the fire or let it consume focus. Dyche's job is to simplify, block out the noise, focus on what you can control, and let your boots do the talking. There's a broader question here about modern ownership and the erosion of patience. 3 managers in one season isn't common, and it signals either panicked ambition or calculated ruthlessness. Either way, it puts every subsequent decision under the microscope. The fan base splits. Some back the owner's demand for excellence. Others fear instability breeding mediocrity. Tonight is the first chance to prove one side right. Question to you: does method matter if the results come? Or do you believe the how builds a club's soul, its identity, its legacy? Say it loud, because your answer shapes what you'll tolerate and what you'll celebrate. The next part shifts from talk to turf. Whispers from the first training session under new orders, where standards got raised and eyes got sharper. The first day under new orders always tells on body language. Fewer laughs, sharper glances, boots tied tighter. The word filtering out from inside the training complex. Intensity. Drills stripped back to essentials. Distances hammered into muscle memory. Transitions rehearsed like a metronome until they become reflex. It wasn't about clever patterns or elaborate build-up phases. It was about oxygen, organization, and attitude. Rivals felt the rumble, or so the talk goes. A reminder that the city ground can growl when provoked, that this squad isn't ready to fold quietly. What does that mean in practice? Think shorter gaps between defensive and midfield lines, clearer rolls off the ball, and a ruthless focus on restarts. Throw-ins treated as territory, corners loaded as weapons, goal kicks used either to climb the pitch methodically or to bait high pressure, but never as vanity or casualness. That's the manual. Turn 50-50s into 60-40s by arriving first and leaving harder. The badge feels heavier when the standards bite. When every sloppy pass gets flagged, every jogged recovery gets called out. It's uncomfortable, but discomfort breeds discipline. For individual players, this is a window, a chance to reset the pecking order. Those who track to the byline and block cutbacks earn trust fast. Those who command the near post or dominate the backstick on set plays become undroppable within days. A couple of sessions can shuffle the pack entirely. One center back who talks louder and organizes the line. One winger who sprints a second time in the same phase instead of admiring his first run. One forward who harasses pivots instead of watching them dictate tempo. Coaches notice. Crowds notice. Agents notice. Market impact? Subtle, but real. When a squad shows structure and fight, fringe names attract loan interest, valuations stabilize, and sporting directors sleep a touch easier. Even agents change tone when they sense a manager who rewards reliability over reputation, who picks the player who does the job over the one with the highlights reel. That's culture, or the start of one. It bleeds into match day, quicker resets after conceding fouls, cleaner defensive walls on free kicks, smarter rotations to protect tired fullbacks in the final 20 minutes. Here's a tiny, truthful micro-story the game always tells. Watch the second ball after a defensive header. If two red shirts arrive before one opposition player, the stadium roars without thinking, because it recognizes honesty, effort, intelligence. That roar is how confidence grows. It's primitive and perfect, the sound of a crowd believing again. And belief is contagious. One tackle sparks another. One sprint inspires the next. One block becomes a war cry. That's what the first sessions aim to ignite. A chain reaction of commitment. From a tactical standpoint, the sessions emphasized compactness in the defensive third and speed in the attacking third. No dawdling in between. The middle third is for winning duels and moving the ball quickly, not for intricate combinations that invite turnovers. Wide players were drilled on when to stay wide, to stretch the block, and when to tuck in, to overload the half space. Fullbacks were coached on when to overlap, only when midfield cover is secure, and when to sit, most of the time. Simple rules, repeated until automatic. Set-piece work took serious time. Defensive corners focused on zonal principles with man-marking hybrids, clear zones, clear responsibilities, and aggressive attacks on any ball within 6 yards. Offensive corners rehearsed multiple variations, near-post flicks, back-post runs, short routines to drag markers out, all designed to create one free header per game. One is often enough. Would you back a selection shock if it fits the new intensity? A fan favorite benched for the runner who doesn't stop, the workhorse over the artist? Say it below, because the debate is real and it cuts deep. The next act is the chessboard fully laid out. A European preview with pressure points mapped in red. A night that could redefine the season's trajectory in 90 minutes. European nights at the City Ground carry their own electricity. The calendar calls it Game Week 3, but the mood says hinge point. The table is tight, the margin tighter. A heavyweight visitor, coached and drilled, arrives with rhythm and pedigree, and that raises the stakes on every duel, every transition, every moment of hesitation. For Forest, this is both a statement opportunity and a survival exercise within the group. Lose and qualification becomes a mountain. Win and suddenly the path clears. Belief returns, and the new era has its first landmark. Match dynamics to expect. A condensed mid-block to deny central threading. Traps set near the touchline to force long diagonals into areas where Forest can compete aerially. And early balls into the channels to pin opposition fullbacks and create 1-versus-1 races. Set plays are leverage. Outswingers to attack the penalty spot, crowding the 6-yard box to rattle the keeper and hunt rebounds. In transition, the pattern is first pass forward, second pass wide, third into the area. It's not poetry, it's percussion, designed to move the ball faster than the opposition can reorganize. Selection puzzles add intrigue. Do you anchor with a single sitter and 2 hard-running 8s, or lock it with a double pivot to shore up central protection? Does the front line feature a lone target man to hold and link, or twin strikers to press high and stretch the back line? Does the wide player stay high and wide to pin defenders, or does he tuck inside to create overloads in the half space? Every choice has a trade-off, and Dyche's reputation suggests he'll prioritize solidity first, then adjust based on in-game feel. The opposition brings quality in possession, technical smoothness in tight areas, and dangerous wide players who can isolate fullbacks. That means Forest's fullbacks will need midfield support quickly, and the wide forwards must track back without being asked twice. Communication between center-back and fullback becomes critical. Who steps to the ball carrier? Who covers the run in behind? Who organizes the defensive line to stay compact and connected? One miscommunication, and the backline splinters. Expect high emotional stakes in the stands. The crowd will be loud from the first whistle, desperate to see fight, organization, and a plan they can believe in. If the team delivers that, even if the football isn't beautiful, the city ground will roar approval. The fan base craves identity right now more than style. Give them structure, effort, and belief, and they'll carry the team through difficult moments. But any sign of drift, any replay of recent chaos, and the mood will sour fast. Key individual battles will define the night. Forest's centre-backs against Porto's striker. Can they dominate aerially, win the physical duels, and step out with the ball when space opens? Forest's central midfielders against Porto's playmaker. Can they deny time and space, force hurried decisions, and break up rhythm before danger builds? Forest's wide forwards against Porto's fullbacks. Can they press aggressively to force errors and then exploit space in behind on the counter? Win those battles, and the game tilts. Set-piece moments could be decisive. Porto will test Forest from corners and free kicks, probing organization and concentration. Forest must be aggressive on the second ball, clearing distance, not just height, and communicating danger loudly before it arrives. On the attacking end, Forest's height and power offer genuine threat. Load the box, attack the ball with intent, and make the keeper earn his wage. One scrappy goal from a set play might be all it takes. The broader picture matters too. A win tonight doesn't just deliver 3 points. It validates the managerial change, quiets the external critics, and gives the squad something tangible to build on. It shifts the narrative from crisis to potential, from chaos to direction. A draw offers a point but leaves questions. A loss? That opens the floodgates again. More debate, more doubt, more pressure on the next fixture. The stakes are massive even if the game itself is just one match in a long season. One question for you, Forest. If this match finishes 0-0 with a disciplined, organized performance and a clean sheet, do you walk away satisfied or frustrated? Does the result matter more than the performance at this stage? Or does the performance tell you more about what's coming? Drop your take below, because there's no single right answer. Only honest perspectives shaped by what you value most in your football club. The final act is coming, and it's about what sits beneath the surface, the hidden cracks that need mending before anything else can be built. Beneath every tactical plan, every motivational speech, every training ground drill, sits a simple truth. Availability is the most underrated ability. You can't execute the press if your best presser is sidelined. You can't dominate the air if your tallest center-back is in the treatment room. You can't control tempo if your metronome midfielder is suspended. The injury and suspension list isn't glamorous, but it shapes everything. Team selection, tactical flexibility, squad morale, and the manager's room to maneuver when the game turns ugly. For Nottingham Forest right now, the medical bulletin carries extra weight. A thin squad stretched across multiple competitions, still adjusting to a new voice. Can't afford prolonged absences in key areas. Every name on the treatment table is a domino. It forces a reshuffle in one position, which weakens cover in another, which limits in-game adjustments. The depth chart gets exposed quickly under Europa League and Premier League demands, especially when fixtures compress and recovery time shrinks. What does the current picture look like? Reports indicate question marks over several names heading into the European fixture, with some nursing minor knocks and others facing late fitness tests. The specifics matter tactically. If a starting center-back is unavailable, does the replacement offer the same aerial dominance and left-foot distribution? If a first-choice fullback is out, Does the deputy possess the same stamina to get up and down for 90 minutes? If a key midfielder misses out, who steps in to screen the backline and recycle possession under pressure? These aren't abstract questions. They directly shape how Dyche sets up and what he can ask his team to do. Suspensions add another layer. A yellow card picked up tonight could rule a player out of the next European tie, or even carry over into domestic fixtures depending on competition rules. That makes game management crucial in the final 20 minutes. Protect players on bookings from silly fouls. Manage frustration when decisions go against you, and avoid letting emotion override discipline. One moment of rashness, a late tackle, a petulant shove, dissent toward the referee, can cost the team a starter for the next critical match. Tactically, the injury list might force Dyche's hand in ways he didn't plan. If the preferred shape requires two mobile center-backs comfortable stepping into midfield, but one is injured and the replacement is slower, the entire defensive line has to sit deeper to avoid getting caught on the turn. If the first-choice striker is unavailable and the backup offers less hold-up play, the midfield has to push higher to support, and the wide players need to get into the box more often. Injuries don't just change personnel, they change principles. Psychologically, injuries and suspensions test squad depth and mentality. Fringe players get unexpected opportunities, and how they respond, with hunger and sharpness, or with nerves and hesitation, tells Dyche everything he needs to know about who he can trust moving forward. A strong performance from a backup can shift the entire pecking order. A poor one can expose the lack of depth and pile pressure back onto the returning starter. There's opportunity in adversity, but only if players seize it. The broader fitness picture also impacts training intensity. If several players are carrying knocks, Dyche has to balance preparation with caution. Push too hard and risk worsening injuries. Go too light and risk undercooking the team tactically. That's the invisible tightrope every manager walks, especially early in a tenure when he's still learning bodies, tolerances, and who can be trusted to play through discomfort versus who needs extra care. From a squad-building perspective, recurring injuries in the same position signal a problem. Either bad luck, poor conditioning, or tactical overload. If fullbacks keep pulling hamstrings, maybe they're being asked to cover too much ground without adequate rest. If center-backs keep picking up knocks, maybe the defensive system exposes them to too many physical duels without enough midfield protection. Patterns matter, and Dyche will be watching closely to see if the injury list reveals deeper structural issues that need addressing in January or next summer. One honest question for the Forest faithful. If a key player is 70% fit, do you start him for his leadership and experience, or do you rest him and trust the backup to step up? There's risk either way. The half-fit player might break down mid-game, but the untested backup might not have the quality or composure when the pressure peaks. It's the kind of call that defines seasons, and fans always judge with hindsight. But in the moment, it's a coin flip with consequences. So here's where we land, Forest. The journey from chaos to clarity doesn't happen in one night, but tonight is where the foundations get poured. A new voice, a new plan, a European stage, injuries to navigate, egos to manage, critics to silence. It's heavy, it's real, and it's yours. Like this video if you believe tonight is the turning point. Comment below with your predicted scoreline and one player you think will shine under Dyche. Subscribe if you want every twist and turn of this season covered with the same passion you bring to the stands. And brace yourself for the next one, because if tonight delivers, the real question becomes, can this be sustained, or is it just a spark that fades? The answer starts now.